This is the Transforming Anxiety Podcast with Kelly Hanlon McCormick, and today is episode number 228, Mid-Year Check-In. Welcome to Transforming Anxiety. I'm your host, Kelly McCormick. I'm a mom to 2 boys, a wife, friend, daughter, and sister, and I'm a certified life coach, yoga teacher, and soon-to-be mindfulness meditation teacher. I'm no stranger to anxiety, and I'm here to teach you how to manage your mind and your emotions so that you too can transform anxiety into calm, peace, and whatever you want for your life. I'm so glad you're here. Well, hey there. Welcome in today. How are you? I hope this week, this podcast, this moment, I hope this finds you well. In fact, let's just get into it. Let's start with our intention for this week, for this episode. It's the first-ish part of August, right? If you're listening to this in real time, which makes it just past the mid-year mark for 2023. And whoo, right? We're doing it. We're winding summer down, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere we are, and we're getting ready to start school over the next few weeks. I've been talking with clients. It's pretty much like this month-long thing from the 1st of August to the first mid-part of September of everybody getting back to school. And this is just a good time, this little pause between summer and really when fall fully sets in, as the school year and the school routine is getting underway, for us to take a breath and zoom out and look around a bit. How are things going? How are you doing? How are you feeling? Yeah? All right, so intention. My intention for this conversation with you today is to pause. Like for us to really breathe and get some perspective together today. I get this sense that we've been, all of us collectively, we're like living like mice, right? We're all up close to the details and the tasks and everything we have to do and go and get done, just right down in the weeds of our days and our hours and our minutes. And I would like to soar up to the eagle view and just fly above it all for this conversation a bit together. Look at the larger view, the bigger picture, and consider how things are going. Yeah? Because this week on the pod, we're doing this mid-year check-in on all the things. It's not technically mid-year, sure. I missed that by a month or more, I guess, but no matter. There are these natural moments during the year that it's helpful to kind of come up for air and get a handle on things in a way that we can't or don't do in the day-to-day. So at the start of the year, right, that's the most obvious one, probably the new year. Some other ones are birthdays, anniversaries, anytime you move or you start a new job, or something shifts maybe in your relationship or in your family or with your at-home dynamic. These are other moments throughout the year that feel like blank slate moments where we can just take stock of what's happening, how we're doing, what's what, right? Another one of those great blank slate moments is that mid-year, end of summer, start of the school year time. Basically this next month or so. It is so ingrained in us from childhood, that back to school season. And then, of course, if you have kids or if you have teachers in your household, it just further cements that in there as a blank slate moment in the year. So, okay, I want to start this conversation with my goal setters. Those of you who set goals, who set resolutions, who get really excited on January 1st. Maybe you chose a word for the year, a phrase, a mantra, something that you picked to give you direction and motivation for 2023. Now, if this isn't you, no biggie. Hang with me. We're coming for you next. But if you did set some goals or ideas for yourself for the year, how are they going? Where are you with them? And sub-question, are they still relevant and important to you? Do they matter in the same way that they did 7 or 8 months ago? Why or why not? And I want to remind you that you can change your mind, meaning you can change goals. You can quit goals. You can leave words or ideas or mantras or whole directions behind and start again. Like, you may find that the January 2023 version of you had no idea what would happen in March or June of this year, and that now that goal or idea would be completely irrelevant or weird or just plain wrong for you. Maybe you've made some serious progress towards something. Maybe you're finding out, like we so often do once we get somewhere. We're like, this isn't exactly what I thought it was going to be like, or look like, or feel like. I don't know if this is what I want anymore. But just like when we're reading a mediocre book, it can be hard to give ourselves permission to set it aside, to change our minds, to stop mid-year, mid-goal, mid-novel, and change tack. That's okay. And I'm saying this because I think we forget that it's okay. It's sometimes like once we start something, again, it can be a book. Maybe you're speaking a sentence. Maybe it's a whole plan for a career, for your health, for your finances, for your relationship. It's like we start something and there's this inner momentum that gets going. Like, this is now what I'm doing. We start identifying with it. And if anyone questions us, or if we pause for a moment and we think, what the hell am I doing or saying right now? Then we get freaked out. And it's almost like we double down on the thing, even if we suspect it's not working for us. Like, have you ever done this with your words? You're in some situation and you're responding, or maybe you're reacting, maybe you're overreacting, and you're saying something and you have this moment where you watch your brain working and you're like, who am I right now? But the next thought is, well, I'm already down the pike. Like, I better just keep going with this, right? I've done this, totally. But folks, whether this is with our sentences, maybe it's with books we don't want to finish, but more importantly, right? Maybe this is whole directions, whole goals, whole paths in our lives. Please, let's just give ourselves permission to stop. You can drop it. You can change direction. You can completely change your mind altogether. Don't forget that. Of course, yes, people will be like, wait, what are you doing? And sure, some of those people may judge you. Those people are definitely going to voice their opinions and their confusion. Absolutely. And it's still okay. Even if the people are giving you their completely irrelevant, loud opinion about whatever it is you're doing or saying. You with me? All right. Now, maybe you're not a goal setter or a mantra maker. That's cool. I don't always get caught up in the resolutions and goals either, personally. And actually, even if you are a goal setter and you're tracking your 2023 resolutions, like a week by week, month by month jam, this is still for you. Again, we're zooming out here. So if the mouse view is that up close, I got to get dinner on the table, I got to get the oldest one to golf, I got to get the youngest one to ninja camp, and we have to finalize school enrollment today, that's the mouse view, right? Getting through the day. It's good. It's necessary. But for this conversation, we're zooming way out. I want you to keep going out and out and out, all the way to that eagle view. Like you're flying above it all. You have a whole different vantage point. Now you can see all the little mice down there, busy. But you're sitting at the top of a tree, right? Or flying above it all for now. And you can see things differently from up here, right? You can see that little mouse who's freaking out about the work project, you can see that work project's It's going to end. It's all going to be okay, whether it's a success or whether things just get done in a mediocre kind of way. And you can see another mouse who's losing it over a few snarky words from their teenager mouse. And you can appreciate that there's maybe another way to have the conversation if that mouse weren't taking it all so personally. And maybe you can see another mouse who's holding on to control, right? Trying to make things happen and stay all organized and scheduled. And, well, you can see that it's all going to work out just fine. And that little mouse could just relax a bit. It's kind of helpful to look at it all from out here, from this larger vantage point. You can see all the mice down there, so busy, so important. Bertrand Russell, he wrote this in one of his books. One of the symptoms of an approaching nervous breakdown is the belief that one's work is terribly important. Let me say this again. One of the symptoms of an approaching nervous breakdown is the belief that one's work is terribly important. This is so true. All those little mice, right? So important. Approaching nervous breakdowns. All right, Chuck Palahniuk, he's the guy who wrote Fight Club. He said this. This isn't in Fight Club. He wrote this in another one of his books. He wrote, "The trick to forgetting the big picture is to look at everything close up." This is so very Chuck Palahniuk. You want to lose perspective? Live like a mouse, right? Look at everything close up. Yep. And again, this is necessary. I get it. We have to do this. We have to see things up close. And we just are getting through the day. I get it. Yes. This is what gets things done. Hour by hour, day by day. Sure. And we have to remember to zoom out every so often to appreciate what's actually happening. What's actually important. That's what this conversation is about. So, listen, I recently watched a documentary on Netflix that was called A Trip to Infinity. And it was so fascinating. I highly recommend it. It'll kind of break your brain a little bit. It's thinking about the mathematics and the philosophy of infinity. But it also, it provides this real, as in like very real perspective on our days and our years and our lives. I mean, think about infinity, right? Forever. Think about how large and vast and enormously expansive the world and the galaxy and outer space is. How wide open math is. How long history is. Like, think how many numbers there are. And then you think of the number 1, 1 hour, 1 day, 1 year, 1 lifetime. Minuscule, right? It's tiny. Think about how there are actually infinite numbers between the numbers 1 and 2. Like, what? And then, while you're holding that, it's like just try and get worked up about a deadline or traffic. Or your in-laws. I mean, it almost starts to seem silly, really. How busy we make ourselves, how overwhelmed we feel. It's like, what are we up to? There's infinity, and there's this moment. Like, it breaks your mind either way, really. The large, enormous vastness, and then the little itty bitty teeny tininess. It's wild. All right. Aaron Lauritsen, he wrote this in his book, it's about the great North American road trip. It was like 100 days on the road or something. He said this, "There is strange comfort in knowing that no matter what happens today, the sun will rise again tomorrow." Okay, let's just stay here for a second. This is the kind of check-in and perspective and long, deep breath I want to take with you today. There is comfort in this. Yeah? Simple. True. And when you remember this, it's so good. When we go to check in, when we go to ask how the year is going, ask how we're feeling, what we're up to, what we want in our lives, this is a good reminder. If it's working, great. If it's not working, it's okay. The sun will keep rising and keep setting and keep rising again no matter what. Today, this month, this year, we'll just keep cycling through. You don't have to be any better than you are. You don't have to be any further along. You can try again and again and again. You've heard that quote. I'm going to butcher it now because I don't have it in front of me. It's like, try again and you fail, right? Try again and fail again, but you fail better. You fail forward, meaning learn, integrate your lessons, and fail in a new way. Keep moving, keep going, keep progressing. The sun will just keep rising. All right, so mid-year check-in. If we live super zoomed in and up close to our lives, and we do, right? That's all right. It's kind of how we have to do things to just get through the day. But this check-in point, this is an invitation to zoom out, take a breath, and get some perspective. To look at the bigger picture. To ask yourself, what do I want? How do I feel? Who do I want to be? Today, sure, maybe this year even, but in this life. Like, this is a check-in with your soul, with your essential self, that most real part of you. The part that we forget about when we're in the mouse view, the day-to-day stuff. It's because we get too zoomed in, right? We're too busy performing our roles and our duties and our expectations. Too busy going and doing. We forget to be and feel, to show up with our real and full selves. This check-in is about that. Like, no shoulds here. No supposed tos. No obligations or cultural norms or societal rules. Just you. Who are you? So, mid-year check-in, but also mid-year return to self. A check-in not just on goals and mantras and resolutions, although that stuff is great, sure, but a check-in on you. Return to self. Yeah? I don't know. Maybe this one meandered a little bit. A bit too much? I don't know. We'll see. But this is what I've been sitting with over the past couple of weeks. This coming back home, that internal home, returning to myself over and over and over again. That reflection. That zooming out, that perspective, that breath. Because fall is coming, right? School is coming. We're going to dive back into routine and school schedules and the structure of the year here so soon. So breathe. Keep breathing. Ask yourself some of these questions here. Check in. Mid-year return to self. And we'll go again. All right. I will be back with you next week. More transforming anxiety with you. More conversations. More discussions. And until then, please take care. Do you have someone to help you with your stress, anxiety, worry, and overwhelm? If not, I would love to be your coach. The Fierce Calm Project is my virtual coaching program where we get to go in on topics like this one, and I can help you apply these lessons to your life so that you're creating your own transformation. We do live coaching calls, guided meditations, on-demand yoga classes. We hold book club where we read books your neighborhood book club won't, and there's lots of bonus content that I've created just for you. When you're ready to take what you're learning on the podcast to a whole other level, then come on over and check out the Fierce Calm Project at kellyhanlonmccormick.com/Fierce Calm Project.